Okay, so today is the continuation of the previous class. It's a differential equation 4, so it's the fourth lecture of the new chapter. So today will be focus on differential equation of first order and higher degree, that is a class of first order nonlinear ODEs, a class of first order nonlinear, because you are talking about a higher degree, that means it is a nonlinear, because you know degree 1 is linear. So if you are talking about a linear differential equation, then its form will be dy dx plus simplest form of the linear differential equation will be dy dx plus py equal to q, right? Your simplest form of linear differential equation will be dy dx plus py equal to q. That is the simplest form of the linear differential equation. Now in this chapter we shall talk about non-linear ODEs, that means higher degree, first order but of a higher degree. So you see Bernoulli's equation discussed in the previous chapter are the first serious nonlinear ODE is taken up. However, the generalized parabolic or hyperbolic transformation enabled us to recast the Bernoulli's equation to linear ODEs, right? You know that how you have converted the Bernoulli's equation. You are first encountered with the Bernoulli's equation. What was the Bernoulli's equation? Bernoulli's equation is given by dy dx plus py equal to q y to the power n, right? This is the nonlinear term. Y to the power n is the nonlinear term, right? So that is the first nonlinear ODE you have encountered. Now in this chapter, the general form of the linear differential equation of first order and higher degree is of that form. What is the form? P to the power n, small p, and there is a capital P1 plus P1, small p to the power n minus 1 plus capital P2, small p to the power n minus 2 plus etc. Pn minus 1 small p plus Pn equal to 0. So this is the form of the first order higher degree, where small p is dy dx actually. That means your leading degree, this is a nth degree in dy dx, and the next one is p1 dy dx whole to the power n minus 1, and next one is plus p2 dy dx whole to the power n minus 2, and so on, where p1 p2 are given functions of x and y. So if you write this equation by writing dy dx, then your leading coefficient is dy dx whole to the power n plus p1 dy dx. This equation can be written as like this also, dy dx whole to the power n minus 1 plus p2 etc. So this is the form, but I am writing, for simplicity I am writing dy dx as p. Okay, so your small p will be dy dx throughout the chapter. If you are encountered with small p, you have to assume that this is a dy dx. It represents dy dx. Okay, now this equation can be written as it is a function of x, y and p, then dy dx. So it also can be written as if function of x, y comma p equal to 0, because your equation involving p, that is dy dx, and x and y, some functions of x and y. So in this chapter we study following methods. There are different methods for solving this first order higher degree. So there are different methods for solving a first order higher degree, because in the previous chapter we have learned so many different integrating factors, rules for finding the integrating factors for solving first order first degree equation. But here we have first order higher degree, right? So there are different methods. So what are the methods? First one is differential equations which are solvable for p. P means your dy dx, right? Always, if your small p is written here, you have to understood that dy dx equal to p. And differential equation which are solvable for x. Number 3, differential equations which are solvable for y. And number 4, Claude's differential equation. This is a very important one. And Lagrange's differential equation. I think there are some universities where Lagrange's differential equations are not there. Okay, So Claude is the very important one. We'll talk about Claude because I am excluding the Lagrange constant because Lagranges are not there in all the universities. So let me now go to the straight to the first method, that is equations which are solvable for P. So okay, so this is the first method, number 1, differential equations which are solvable for P. P means dy dx. Okay, here your P is small p is your dy dx. You look upon the equation 4.1 is as an algebraic equation in P because P power of P, you can consider it as a polynomial in P, right? If your P is any you can consider it is an algebraic equation, so algebraic polynomial, because your nth degree polynomial you can consider it as a if you are not writing dy dx, then it is a p to the power n, highest degree is n, so you can consider it is a algebraic polynomial, algebraic equation. So it must have n roots because it is a nth degree, and let the roots be p1 p2 pn. These are all being functions of x and y. Okay, these are all n roots, and n roots are all functions of x and y. Okay, so we may write, you can write, if these n roots are p1 p2 pn, then that algebraic equation, that is what you have written here, it can be written as p1. So your algebraic equation is p to the power n plus p1 p to the power n minus 1 plus p2 p to the power n minus 2, etc. And the last one is pn, capital Pn. Obviously these are our coefficients, and this equal to can be written as p minus p1, because if p1 is a root of that equation, p minus p2, if p were p2 p1 p2 p3 etc. are the root of this equation, this can be written as a product of factors by factor theorem, right? So this is the factors, these are the factors. So you can write this equation 4.1, this can be written as p minus p1 into p minus p2 into p minus pn, because p1 p2 pn are the roots of that equation. So look at that, I have written this, so this is equal to 0. Now comparing each factor, okay, each linear factors, all are linear factors, you look at that, all are linear factors. So all these linear factors separately to 0, considering all these linear factors to separately 0, so you will have p minus pi equal to 0, and pi is functions of x and y. These roots are actually functions of x and y. You look at that, it is written here, the p1 p2 pn are functions of x and y. Okay, p1 p2 pn are functions on x and y. Okay, so p1 p2 pn, this is written as a function of x and y, where I equal to 1 to n, which is a linear differential equation. What is your p? Look at that, one of the factor, if it is written as, let us say p minus p1 equal to 0, p minus p1 equal to 0. What is your p1? P1 is dy dx. What is your p? Dy dx. And what is your p1? P1 is a function of x and y. So this is a linear differential equation. This is a linear differential equation. Dy dx is equal to f on xy. So each of the factors will be linear differential equation. Okay, so if you solve this differential equation, you will get a solution like this, where ci is a arbitrary constant. So for different linear factors you have different arbitrary constants, but instead of taking different ci's in general for this individual, if you take only one c in all, then it makes no difference in general solution. So what is the thing is here, you have n linear factors, n, and for each linear factor you are considering individual ci, different ci, arbitrary constants. But instead of taking different ci's in the general solution of this, if you take only one ci in all, then it makes no difference. So we are considering only one c. Do not consider separately so many c's. So therefore the general solution of this will be this equal to 0. And the general solution of combined equation is and the general solution of combined equation is. So the general solution of this combined equation is given by f1 xyc f2 xyc dot 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 fn xyc equal to 0. Okay, f1 x1 x comma y comma c, f2 x comma y comma c, etc. fn x comma y comma c equal to 0. So this is the general solution. Look at that. Instead of taking different c, we have considered only one c, and that will not affect our general solution. We must keep in mind that from the theoretical standpoint, existence of explicit solutions ensure that the formal solutions are elevated automatically to the status of implicit solutions. Okay, so that will not affect your general solution. So you have to consider only one c in all the cases, because okay. Thus the differential equation of n degree and first order, because you are dealing with a first order differential equation, you must have only one arbitrary constant, so that is why it will not affect your general solution, are known as solvable for p. So your linear factor p minus pi equal to 0 are known as solvable for p. So this is the method of differential equation which are solvable for p. Let us now solve one problem so that the idea will be clear to you. So let us have an example. P cube, where p is your dy dx. Remember always in this chapter, throughout the chapter, p cube minus p x square plus xy plus y square plus xy into x plus y equal to 0. So your p is your dy dx. Look at that, highest power of p is 3. It is a first order but third degree differential equation. First order but third degree differential equation. So if you expand, if you open the bracket, if you expand the differential equation, the equation is factored as, let me write, the equation is factored as, you can write the equation which can be factored as simplified p minus y into p minus x, just like algebraic factors, just like a algebraic manipulation. You can factor the equation p plus x plus y equal to 0. Easily you can check, this will be the factors, and look at that, if you multiply, p power of p will be cube 3, so it's a third degree, right? So equating each of the linear factors separately to 0. So p minus y equal to 0, right? Then p minus x equal to 0, equating each of the linear factors separately to 0, and the last one is p plus x plus y equal to 0. And so this will yield, this yields p is your dy dx. So you write dy dx is the linear, each of the factors will be linear differential equation. You look at that, this is a linear differential equation, and if you write this dy dx minus x equal to 0, so you can integrate this, by integrating, your general solution will be, in this case, y minus c e to the power x equal to 0. This is the general solution. So I am writing c for each of the factors. I am writing c for each of the linear factors. In this case, your general solution will be y minus half of x square plus c equal to 0. And in this case, if you write, it will be x plus y minus 1 plus c e to the power minus x equal to 0. Okay. Let me add a page here. So let me show you. This p is dy dx plus x plus y. This is also linear differential equation y. This is of the form dy dx plus py equal to q. So I am writing dy dx plus y equal to minus x. So what is your integrating factor? You look at that, your integrating factor is e to the power 1 dx, so e to the power x. So your differential equation will be d dx of y into e to the power x and minus x e to the power x. So integrating, you have y e to the power x equal to you have to do by parts here, and you have taken the constant as c. Okay, so you can easily check that this will be the solution, this will be the general solution, and this is how. So your general solutions are number 1, number 2, number 3. So this can be combined to have general solution. These can be combined to have general solution. What is the general solution? Combined general solution, y minus c e to the power x, that is the first solution of the first linear factor, y minus half x square plus c, and into y plus x minus 1 plus c e to the power minus x equal to 0, c being the arbitrary constant of integration. Okay, so this is the combined general solution of that given differential equation of first order but third degree. This is how. So let me explain again once again. Your p is your dy dx. The first of all, you try to factorize the equation or try to do any algebraic manipulation so that you have a linear factors. In this case, you have 3 linear factors. Equating each of the linear factors to separately to 0, that will produce your linear differential equation. By solving each of the linear equations, you will get general solutions in each case, and the combined general solution is given by the product of these general solutions. Okay, now one observation is that the three component ordinary differential equations being a part of the first order and third degree ODE, one and only one constant of integration should be there, c. Look at that, because it is a first order, so there must be one independent arbitrary constant, and that is your c is existent, and the complete primitive, as evident from the final result, is a cubic polynomial equation in C. You look at that, your final result, if you multiply, it's a cubic polynomial equation in C. C has a power 3. It's a cubic polynomial equation in C. So that is verified from this observation. Okay, clear all of you? So that is how you are dealing with this problem. Let me show you another problem. So the next problem is, yeah, this is the differential equation. Solve another one. So x square p square and minus 2xyp plus y square equal to x square y square plus x to the power 4. Now this above equation can be written as, the left hand side can be written as xp minus, where p is obviously your dy dx, always in this chapter, throughout the chapter. So your left hand side is xp minus y whole square, and your right hand side is y square plus x square into y square plus x square. This is the equation. So you can write xp minus y equal to plus minus x into root over x square plus y square. Okay, and from here you can write p as y plus minus x. So factorization is not possible in this problem, so you can take any algebraic manipulations. Okay, so I am doing Sridhar Acharya here, or I am taking square root both sides and just transposing that one. So x into root over x square plus y square by x. Okay, so this is a homogeneous type. So if you substitute y equal to vx, then your left hand side will be, your p is your dy dx, so left hand side will be v plus x dv dx, right, and equal to y by x, that is your v, plus minus root over this will be your 1 plus v square. Okay, so this is the thing. So if you simplify this, v get cancelled. If you simplify, y is your v square x square, sorry, wait, yeah, this is okay, because x gets cancelled here, so v square x square. So if you simplify this, and changing the v get cancelled, so this will be the reduced differential equation, 1 plus v square equal to plus minus dx, because x get cancelled, and the solution will be of this form, right? If you take the plus sign, you have a solution. If you take a minus sign, you have a solution. So you have a solution of the form v equal to sine hyperbolic. I am taking a hyperbolic substitution, c1, and v equal to sine hyperbolic c2 minus x. Okay, you can check that. So if you take the combined, what is the combined general solution? The combined general solution is given by v is your y by x sine hyperbolic x plus c. I'm just changing the c1 c2 with a c, only one arbitrary constant, because it is a first order, c minus x, and this equal to 0. So this is the complete primitive, and c is an arbitrary constant. Got it? So you can substitute here any arbitrary, so I am substituting v as any hyperbolic function. Okay, and you know that derivative of sine hyperbolic is cos hyperbolic, derivative of cos hyperbolic is sine hyperbolic. So that is why there is no minus sign here. So you can easily calculate that. You can check that this will be the general solution in the, if you take the plus sign, and this will be the general solution if you take the second minus sign, and the combined general solution is given by this. So this is how you are dealing with the problems solvable for P. Okay, now I shall talk about the second one, number 2, differential equations which are solvable for y. So look at that. If the differential equation of the form, because you are dealing with a differential equation whose form is x function of x, y, and dy dx, P means your dy dx equal to 0, can be written as, if your differential equation can be written as, if it is possible, if you can write the differential equation in the form y equal to function of x comma p equal to 0, then it is said to be solvable for y. Then it is said to be solvable for y, because y can be explicitly expressed in terms of x and p. Look at that. Y can be expressed explicitly in terms of x and p. If it is not possible to separate y, then you cannot do, it cannot be possible for solvable for p. But if it is true, if you can write the equation, then it is it can be written in this form. Then you can do, in order to solve these types of differential equation, we differentiate with respect to x. We get dy dx equal to p, if you differentiate, and f is a function of x and p, so you need a partial derivative here. You need a partial derivative here. So look at that, you are differentiating with respect to x. So dy dx, left hand side your dy dx equal to p del f del x and plus del f del p dp dx according to the partial derivative rule, and so your this side is a function of xp dp dx, which is in variable p and x, where p is your dy dx. Now hence its general solution is given by xpc. By eliminating p from this equation 4.3 and from this general solution, we can get a function of xyc, which will be the general solution of the given differential equation. Okay, so after solving you will get the general solution in terms of p. By eliminating p between this and this solution, we will get a function of xyc, which is the general solution of the given differential equation. But there will be so many cases, in so many problems, you cannot eliminate p. It is not possible to eliminate p. What will happen in that case? The general solution can be taken as x is equal to function of pc and y is a function of pc. So these two together will give the general solution. So if it is not possible to eliminate p between these two equations, that means x is equal to function of p and c and y is equal to function of p and c, together will give you the general solution. Okay, so let me show you how in this case of y equal to px, solvable for p, y equal to px plus p square x. So if I look at that, it is explicitly expressed in terms of p and x. So let us differentiate both sides with respect to x. Left hand side will be p, that is your dy dx, and p plus x dp dx plus, what is the derivative of p square x? P square fixed, derivative of x is 1 and x fixed, so it is twice p dp dx, right? And look at that, this is also p, pp cancelled, pp cancelled, dy dx not equal to 0 from both sides. So you have, after simplification, dp dx into x plus 2xp, okay, minus p square. And if you simplify further, it can be written as dx by x equal to 1 plus, sorry, not equal to, it is a minus sign. So if you simplify, it will be 1 plus 2p by p square into dp equal to 0. Okay, 1 plus 2p by p square into dp equal to 0. So this is your linear differential equation, linear. So you can integrate this, you can check the integration will be log x, if you integrate log mod x plus you take log c here equal to 1 by p minus 2 log p, like this. So if you simplify further, it will be cx p square equal to e to the power 1 by p. Okay, this is the general solution. Now you see, you can get the x from here directly in terms of p. So e to the power 1 by p by cp square, right? And look at that, y is your x into p plus p square. Okay, so x and y, you can eliminate y you can substitute your x here. So e to the power 1 by p cp square into p plus p square. So you can't eliminate p from these two equations. So you can write x and y in terms of function of p and c. So this together will give you the parametric solution of the given equation. Constitute the p is the parameter. Constitute the parametric solution. Constitute the parametric solution. Parametric solution. Okay. This together give you the parametric solution. Just see, I have explained that if you cannot eliminate p, then x is equal to function of p and y is equal to function of p and c, x is equal to function of p and c. This together will give you the general solution, and more preciously we can say it is the parametric solution if you can't eliminate. So this is the method here, that if your equation is y explicitly in terms of x and p, then you can differentiate and get the solution like this. So first you will try for p, solvable for p, then second you are trying for solvable for y. Similarly you can try for solvable for x. So next is solvable for x, number 3. So how will you do that? The same thing, I am not explaining this thing, the same process you have to follow for solvable for x, and if it is not eliminatable, you cannot eliminate p, then x is a function of p and c and y is a function of p and c. Again, once again will give you the solution. Okay. So let us apply this. Look at that. It is a mixture of x and y equal to 2xp plus p square y. So this equation can be written as, if you want to eliminate, if you want to write x in terms of p and y, because x is alone here, so you can write that. So 2x is equal to y by p minus py, p not equal to 0, p not equal to 0. So differentiating with respect to y, in this case you have to differentiate with respect to y. Differentiate with respect to y. So that will be your, if you simplify, you will get 2 dx dy left hand side equal to 1 by p minus y by p square dp dy, okay, minus p minus y dp dy, okay. And if you change and simplify further, that is some manipulations, it will be like this: 1 by p plus p, because your dy dx is p, this p, equal to minus y into 1 plus 1 by p square into dp dy, right? Okay. And more simplification, if you take that p, it can be written as 1 by 1 plus p square, 1 plus 1 by p square equal to minus y into 1 plus 1 by p square, and this should not be 0. This is not equal to 0. 1 plus 1 by p square is not equal to 0. So we can cancel it from both sides. Okay, because 1 plus 1 by p square is not equal to 0. It cannot be 0. So we can cancel it from both sides, right? So what is the simplified form? What is the simplified form? The simplified form is dy by dy plus dp by p equal to 0. dy by y plus dp by p equal to 0. And if you integrate, yp equal to c. yp equal to c. So you substitute this in equation 1. What is your equation 1? This is your equation 1. The problem itself is the equation 1. So if you substitute in that equation, you will have y square equal to, because you have p, p is your c by y. Look at that, your p is your c by y. So what was the given equation? Given equation was p square y plus 2px. In this case you can eliminate, this is your equation 1, this is your equation 2. You can eliminate p between 1 and 2 in this case, but in the previous case, you cannot separate p, you cannot eliminate p. So that is why together gives the solution. But in this case you have equation 1, you have equation 2. So substitute into 1, sorry, you have c square by y square into y plus 2 c by y into x. So look at that, your final solution will be in terms of c and xy. There is no p. So this is the general solution, and you can easily verify that which represents a parabola, family of parabolas. This represents a family of parabolas. This is a beautiful result. This represents a family of parabolas. If you can eliminate, you will get the result. So these are the three important methods. The most important was solvable for p, then solvable for y, and the third one is solvable for x. Okay, next we have arrived at the last section, that is the most important one, that is the Claude's form. Okay, so what is Claude form? A differential equation of the form y equal to px plus function of p. Y equal to px plus function of p is the Claude's form, and p is your dy dx. Just like you have recognized Bernoulli's equation. How will you recognize the Bernoulli's equation or the linear equation? Dy dx plus py equal to q is the linear equation, and Bernoulli's equation dy dx plus py is equal to q y to the power n. So that was your Bernoulli's equation. Now how will you recognize the Claude's form? Claude's form is given by y equal to px plus function of p, where p is your dy dx, right? Now is called the Claude's equation. This is called the Claude's equation. Its complete primitive is, its complete solution is y equal to cx plus f of c. This is 2. Look at that, your p is replaced by c. Your p is replaced by c. Then you get the general solution. Let us have the justification. How? Let us prove that. So what is your equation? Y equal to px plus function of p, and this is known as Claude's equation. Let us differentiate the given equation with respect to x. So differentiating 1 with respect to x, right? I am differentiating 1 with respect to x. So if you differentiate, your left hand side will be dy dx. Look at that, dy dx plus, dy dx equal to, right hand side you have your equation. Let me write the equation once again here so that you can verify, px plus function of p. So y equal to dy dx is equal to p plus x dp dx plus f dash p dp dx, right? Okay, so this is the differentiation, and this is also p, this is also p. So p get cancelled, and if you take x plus f dash p, this is common, dp dx is common, equal to 0, right? Because your pp get cancelled, this p gone. Okay, so you have either dp dx equal to 0 or x plus f dash p equal to 0. dp dx is equal to 0 or f dash p, x plus f dash p equal to 0. So this is equal to p equal to constant. This implies if you integrate this, this gives p equal to constant, which is equal to c. Say. Okay. Now eliminate p between this number 3 and 1. What is your 1? 1. So you will get y equal to cx plus function of c. And which is the general solution? Which is the general solution or the complete primitive of the Clèod's form? Complete primitive of the Clèod's form. Got it? So that is why it is justified that this will be the complete primitive or general solution of Clèod's form. So if you can write any equation, first order but higher degree equation in the form of this Clèod's equation, then its complete primitive can be directly, you can write y equal to cx plus function of c. Okay. Now let me explain the geometrical significance. Actually, you see, what is your complete primitive? That is the last result, that is equation 2. That is equation 2. I have given equation 2 here. This is your equation 2. Equation 2 represents a family of straight lines. Equation 2, that means the solution, the complete primitive. Complete primitive represents a family of straight lines, right? This represents a family of straight lines in the xy plane. In the xy plane. Okay. So this represents a family of straight lines in the xy plane. Now we can write this x plus f dash p equal to 0. Another equation you have. You look at that. X equal to, you can write that as x equal to minus f dash p, and if you write your x here in the given equation, y equal to px plus fe, so it will give you y equal to, if you eliminate x, y equal to minus p f dash p plus fp. This together, if you eliminate p between this x and y, then together will give you the some solution. We see that it is not containing any arbitrary constant. You look at that, this combine, this equation and this equation, these two not containing any c, there is no arbitrary constant, and this will produce another kind of solution if you eliminate p, and this is called this will produce this type of solution is called singular solution. Singular solution. So look at that, my dear students, why Clèod's equation is so much of importance. Why this is important, very very important, because you see this is a simple form, you can easily recognize this from the equation, and by calculation you can show that its complete primitive is given by y equal to cx plus a function of c, and another part of the solution, that is x is equal to f dash p equal to 0, and if you can eliminate with the given equation, this together will give you a solution, and that type of solution do not contain any c, arbitrary constant, and p. There will be no p, no c. That type of solution is called singular solution. That type of solution is called singular solution. So you are getting two types of solution in Clair's equation. One is a general solution, a complete primitive. Another one is a singular solution. Now my observation. What are the observations? The general solution y equal to cx plus function of c represents a family of straight lines in the xy plane, that already mentioned. If this family has an envelope, it is found by differentiating. What is the envelope? What is your envelope? The concept of envelope is here. The curve given by the singular solution touches every member of the family of lines given by the general solution, and also at each point of the curve it is touched by some member of the family of lines. So that was the concept of envelope. Okay. So if this family has an envelope, it is found by differentiating the equation with respect to c. Then we have x plus f dash c. If you differentiate this equation, then you have the same equation, x plus f dash c equal to 0. The result of elimination of c between these two equations, that means this equation and this equation, the result of elimination of c is the same as that of elimination of p in these two equations, is the same. They will produce the same thing, that is the singular solution. That is the singular solution, and that is called the envelope of the family of straight lines. Therefore the curve represented above lines is the envelope of the family of lines. Okay, clear? So we can get the envelope by eliminating c from these two equations, or by eliminating p from these two equations, and that envelope is the singular solution. Then the singular solution of the Clair's equation becomes the envelope of the family of lines given by the general solution. So that is the very, very important observation. And you know that singular solutions can be obtained by p discriminant, c discriminant. We will talk in the next video about that. But this is the concept of Clair's geometrical significance and important observations. So to describe that, let us have a problem. Let us have a problem. Let us have a problem example to describe that. So this is the problem, y equal to px plus a by p. Okay. Now this is in Clair's form. You look at that. This is of the form y equal to px plus function of p. So you write which is in Clair's form, right? You write here which is in Clair's form. Now what we do with the Clair's form? We differentiate with respect to x. So differentiating with respect to x, we get what we get here, dy dx, that means equal to p. Left hand side is also p. So I am not writing dy dx here. Your left hand side is p if you are differentiating. P plus x dp dx, because you are differentiating with respect to x. And next last term will be minus a by p square dp dx. Okay. So your p gone, and if you simplify, dp dx into x minus a by p square equal to 0. Okay. So after that, either two factors, two things, either dp dx equal to 0 or x equal to a by p square, or x equal to a by p square. So dp dx equal to 0 implies if you integrate p equal to constant, p equal to c. So your general solution is, therefore the general solution is, what is your general solution? Y equal to cx plus a by c. This is your general solution, right? Where c is an arbitrary constant. Now what about this one? You have x is equal to a by p square, and if you write here y equal to, another equation is y equal to px plus a by p. So if you write your x, replace your x by a by p square, so that will be, right, so this will be y equal to 2a by p. Look at that, y equal to 2a by p. Okay, so if you eliminate p between these two equations, that is 2 and 3, you eliminate p between 2 and 3, what do you have? You replacing p by this, you will have a parabola, y square is equal to 4x. You will have a parabola, y square is equal to 4x. So this is a solution of the given equation, but not deducible from the general solution by giving a particular value of c. So it is the singular solution. Once again I repeat, this is a solution, this is your singular solution. Why this is singular solution? Singular solution, okay. So why this is singular solution? Because it is not deducible from the given equation by giving particular values of c, but it is eliminating p, you will getting this solution. So this is called the singular solution. Y square is equal to 4x, and there is no c or p in these terms in this equation, and this represents a parabola. So let me explain. This is the envelope of the family of lines, this y equal to family of lines this. So let me draw that. So this is the curve parabola. Let me draw the parabola here. This is y square is equal to 4x, right? And you know that those straight line y equal to cx plus a by c, those are the straight lines like this. It's a family of straight lines. So there are infinite number of lines touching the parabola and touched by the parabola. So this is parabola is the envelope of the family of straight lines. So that every member of y equal to cx plus a by c touches the parabola y square is equal to 4x, and at any point of the parabola it is touched by some member of y equal to cx plus a by c. The singular solution is thus the envelope of the family of lines. So let me write the last line. The singular solution is thus the envelope of the family of lines given by the general solution. Okay, so that's it. This is the last line, and that is the important conclusion. Okay, now let me show you another last problem here. Y equal to px plus 1 root over 1 plus p square. So obtain the complete primitive and singular solution. Once again, this is in the Clauser's form, y equal to px plus function of c. So let us differentiate dy dx equal to p plus x dp dx, because you are differentiating with respect to x, plus p by root over 1 plus p square if you differentiate that by chain rule into dp dx. Okay, and pp got cancelled from both sides, so you will get x plus p by root over 1 plus p square into dp dx equal to 0. So integrating either you have dp dx equal to 0. So that will give you p equal to c. So your general solution or complete primitive is y equal to cx plus root over 1 plus c square. Okay, you are replacing p by c. So this is equation 1. Your general solution is equation 2. So, and another solution will be x equal to, another thing is x is equal to minus from here. Another solution, x equal to minus, another factor, x equal to minus p by 1 plus p square, right? Now if you replace, this is your equation 3, and if you replace this x in the given equation, then your y will be 1 by 1 plus p square, right? You look at that, your given equation is this. If you replace your x by that value minus p by 1 plus p square, this will be your y. So it looks like you can eliminate these x and y. Yes, if you square and add, squaring and adding, you will get the singular solution. X square plus y square is equal to 1, and that is a circle. That is a circle, unit circle, center at the origin. This is the circle, and so these are the family of lines touches the circle. These are the family of lines touching the circle at different points. So these are the unit circles, right? There are infinite number of points. So your circle is the envelope, your singular solution. So circle is the singular solution of the family of straight lines of this equation. Singular solution, your singular solution is the circle, and your complete primitive or the general solution is y equal to cx plus root over 1 plus c square, and your circle is the envelope in this case because your family of lines touches the circle. So this is the geometrical interpretation, and this is how you have to deal with the problems of Claude's form, and you have to deal with the first order higher degree differential equation. This is, we are talking about this chapter. Throughout the chapter your degree is higher order, higher degree, first order higher degree. P's or degree is not 1, but it is of higher degree. So that's all for today. I hope this lecture will be helpful to you. Thank you all of you.